Hello, my name is Zyva. I use he, him pronouns, and I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was looking through our shared memory, and I was like, oh, this shared channel thing. And I figured I could talk about being fictive, because that's kind of important to who I am and how I've changed and stuff. So for context, I was formed about 1.5 years ago. So I've had a long time to adjust, but also in that 1.5 year, I was mainly adjusting in like the back of headspace, not like in the front. I am a fictive of cross sands. If you don't know what that is completely fine. It's kind of a niche interest, but basically my story is that I was plucked directly from like the middle of that story in a certain time point, and then I was just immediately in the system. And a big part of Cross Sands is that, it's Sands. His original name is Sands, and then he changed his name to Cross because it was like, oh, there's multiple Sandses in the world, then I need to be unique. So he renames himself as Cross. But then when I was plucked and I realized, holy shit, I'm in a body with a bunch of other people, and I'm like watching a video of my story. Essentially, it was an animation of how my story was, how my story is, and it was just such a disconnect, and I was incredibly upset because Cross Sands isn't unique. Cross isn't unique. So then I was incredibly upset by that, and so I renamed myself to Zyva. And after that, this was during a time period where there would be a lot of altars in front, at least in front space. So when I came to realize myself and realized there was just a bunch of people there, and someone had helped me. At the time I was very untalkative. I remember just hating my situation and just not wanting to talk with anyone, but they were still trying to be kind with me. I assume they had their own stuff to deal with, so they kind of just guided me towards 2 other people, and I've basically kind of just been best buds with those 2 ever since. A lot of trauma happened. I wasn't there for any of it. But TLDR, I've basically been with those other 2 the whole time. And originally when the 3 of us first started out, it wasn't really a group. But then after something happened and whatever, and our inner space changed, then our living situation was compromised and we had to go somewhere else. We didn't have a stable location anymore to call home. So then the 3 of us kind of just started wandering, and someone called us the trio. And I was like, I don't really care enough to name us, but I'm here again, so I'm gonna name ourselves as the Wind Trio because I think that's fun. But other than that, I've mainly done a lot of self-improving within the inner headspace. Obviously hanging out with one of them's a caretaker and the other one's a soother, so obviously I think they rubbed off on me a lot and helped me with adjusting being in a system. I rewatched the video If you want specifics, I rewatched 0.6. My source specifically, this is really specific, so if you don't understand, that's fine, but I was specifically plucked when in 0.6 in the Omega timeline. I already lived there for a while, for like a few months, not a full year, so it was just really disorienting to just suddenly be in the system. But for me, I rewatching the video, it was just kind of weird, to be honest, because that was me, that's me on the screen right there, but also that's not really me, because like in what happens to the canon of Cross Sands is that he only stays in the Omega timeline for like probably a maximum of 1 day before he leaves for reasons, but I stayed there for months, and it was a weird, like, that didn't happen to me, but also I like rewatched it, and it was a massive like, well, I feel more real than the video on the screen. And while I could identify with everything that happened before 0.6, that specific video, like all of that was me, and I identify with a lot of it. That specific scenario of just leaving the Omega timeline, that just didn't happen to me. So I guess it's just been an adjustment period, a long adjustment period, and like I was never needed. I was formed after a hyperfixation rewatch. I know that much. And then, yeah, I didn't like the front. I didn't like being in a system again because, you know, I wasn't unique again. Yeah, I'm not as grumpy as I used to be. I'm, you know, as you can see, I'm actually talking. Because back then I wouldn't even talk with the other alters, like, at all. So I improved as a person. I don't have any vendettas against the system, you know, the brain is whatever. I don't care. It's just weird being a fictive and an alter in a body. I'm looking at like the body's memories and I'm like, huh, that's not my memories. But apparently I deal with them anyway. I mean, I'm not a trauma holder. I'm an alter due to a hyperfixation. But I did do some stuff today. I got some work done, so, which is accurate to my canon personality or whatever. Oh, also a fun thing to just talk about is just I really like rock music. Specifically early 2000s rock music. I'm not a huge fan of soft rock. Not that there's anything wrong with soft rock, but like, you know, I'm just a bigger fan of like screaming in the mic and rock songs and all that jazz, all that stuff, and it's fun. I like rock music, and the body usually likes more EDM, more Vocaloid songs. So it's been like, cause like I have a drastic difference in my song choices. Like the entire genre is different. For the body and like most other alters that don't really have a huge opinion on music, they just default to Vocaloid or just any EDM songs. But for me, it's like EDM, you're okay, but I would really, really love to just go and listen to rock songs. I think that's mainly about me. I just hope that you guys are good, because if I can heal, then you can heal too. So I wish you guys the best. Also, being in a female body is really weird for me, and I wouldn't wish this on other people. Having this voice is also really weird, but you know, I'm just gonna ignore all this dysphoria because this ain't my body, and I'm not gonna live in it for a long time. I'm only here for a few hours, and I get to leave. I don't care enough. It's weird, but I don't care, so whatever. Yeah. Have a good day, guys.